the fullness of life, the abundant air, the blessing of locomotion, the faculty of reasons, the spark of ideas, the joy of seeing, the pleasure of hearing, the treasure of speaking, the privilege of working, the gift of learning, the table that serves us, the bread that feeds us, the cloth that clothes us, the unknown hands that toil to supply us with food and clothing, the anonymous benefactors who transmit the wealth of their knowledge to us, the conversation of a friend, the shelter of our home, the sweet responsibility of family, the happiness of building for the future, the renewal of our strength. Many people are waiting for spectacular events of worldly good luck in order to express their gratitude to heaven. However, we Christians know that the blessings of divine providence enrich every aspect of our lives at every moment. There is nothing meaningless on our path. Every gift from the Heavenly Father is precious in the arena of our lives. Therefore, utilizing the patrimony that the Lord has loaned to us in our unceasing service for the good, let us then learn to give thanks. Let's do our initial prayer. Dear Father, we thank you for one more beautiful day, one more Sunday that we decided to get out of our comfortable homes and come here to listen to the word of Jesus, to listen to his teachings, to learn, to understand what the Master was trying to tell us. We thank you for our health that allow us to be here today. We thank you for all the small things in our daily lives that we take for granted and that we only remember when we lack them or when we have some kind of obstacle. Dear Jesus, with our hearts full of love and gratitude, we would like to ask you for enlightenment through the mentors of our house, so that we may open our spiritual ears to all the contents that we're going to see here today. May we be able to listen, understand, feel, and experience in our daily lives. So be it. All right. Thank you, DJ. Okay, so reincarnation. Are you grateful to be here? So when we talk about reincarnation, there are about 1 million aspects of reincarnation we can talk about. Yesterday we had our book club meeting and we were talking about the book. They haven't made it into a movie yet, but they should. It would actually be a series because she goes through way too much. And the book was Renúncia. Does everybody know? Have you ever heard about that book? I think it has been translated into English by Renunciation. Not sure, but I think it has. I think that whole collection has been translated. So this lecture was inspired by that book. Are we grateful for this opportunity? Are we grateful for all the troubles we have to go through? Are we grateful for all the pain that we feel? Is it easy to be on Earth, on this planet right now? Is it a walk in the park? Smooth sailing all the way? Not exactly. But then we keep hearing, right? All the time. And Spiritism says that. And I can't say all other religions, but I want to say most religions say you have to be thankful. You have to be thankful. Just like my mother used to tell me, you have to say thank you to people. If someone gives you something, you say thank you. If someone does you a favor, you say thank you. So we have this idea that we have to be thankful. And sometimes we have, you know, in our minds, I am thankful, I am thankful. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all the time. But are we truly and really thankful? We're thankful from here out. Are we thankful from here in? So that's the idea today. We're going to reflect on how grateful we feel to be here, to be reincarnated. I'm not talking here Calgary, Canada, as opposed to Brazil, America, as opposed to Europe. I'm talking about here incarnated, living right now in the world we live in. For that, first, we are going to talk a little bit about reincarnation. We're going to go back to some basic concepts of reincarnation. And then we're going to talk about gratitude, okay? So we're going to go back a little bit in the Spirit's book. That one here, I didn't realize it was so high. So we are going to see, we're going to use the Spirit's book and the Gospel According to Spiritism and another book that I'll show you for this talk. So we're going to go back to the basics, Spirit's book. So what is incarnation? What is it? What's incarnation? We are spiritists, right? That's super duper basic question, isn't it? So what is incarnation? We talk about it all the time. What is it? Why does it happen?
It's an opportunity for us to practice our virtues on earth.
Yeah, you're going deeper. I'm still in the very basic, like down here. We're talking about intellectual concept. Like we're trying to explain to someone who has no idea about incarnation what it is. Because to a whole lot of people, life begins at conception, right? That's what a whole lot of people believe, that the soul starts at conception. As spiritists, we know that's not what it is. We know that the soul existed before, right? So if we're trying to explain to someone who is not a spiritist or a reincarnationist, because there are other religions that believe in reincarnation, if we're trying to explain to someone who has no idea what we're talking about, and we start like from the very basics, like talking about cognition, understanding with your brain. Question 132, Allan Kardec asks, what is the purpose of the incarnation of spirits? Da, da, da. Can someone read for us, please?
God's law imposes incarnation for the purpose of leading spirits to perfection. For some, it is an expiation, for others, a mission. However, in order to reach this perfection, they must undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence.
Yeah, this is just the beginning of the answer. Like I said, we are just going to brush on reincarnation. I recommend, this is chapter 4, okay, of the first book of the Spirit's book, and it's all about incarnation. Then chapter 5, because you probably, I don't know if you noticed, but we here are talking incarnation, not reincarnation. So chapter 4 is all about incarnation. Like I said, basics. I have no idea what it is. So we start with incarnation, which is living a material life. Because if we are spirits and our true home is the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, why do we need a material body? Why do we need to incarnate? Why do we need this material life? Okay? And then the answer is, so what is God's law? It's a divine law. It's in God's law that all his creation incarnates, that all his creation has material life. Okay? And this is just the beginning of the answer. It continues. I recommend the whole chapter. It's very, very enlightening. And then he says, leading spirits to perfection. I'm sorry, I already forgot your name. Claudia? Marcia. I don't know why I thought Claudia. So like Marcia said, to evolve, to lead spirits with capital S, meaning individualities, to perfection. For some, it's an expiation. For others, a mission. Let's remember, what's the meaning of expiation?
Go through something to learn.
Yeah. If we go back to the root of the word, ex means to extract. And pia, or piation, is purity, pureness. So we extract pureness, which means we atone for our mistakes. I did something wrong, I go back and I repair. I broke, I go back and I repair. That's expiation. Made a mistake, I fix my mistake, right? Okay, now this is what it is. But why? What is not the same as why? It's God's law for us to evolve to perfection. But why? Are the questions too hard for a Sunday morning? Are the brains on vacation?
Well, I guess it's
Come on, let's crank it.
Well, it's still incarnate. I thought about God giving us another chance to fix things, but I don't think that's because it's incarnate, right? Not reincarnate. Probably not the answer.
Okay, I like the way you think. The next question, 133, Allan Kardec asks, is incarnation necessary for the spirits who have followed the path of goodness from the beginning? If I'm good from day one, do I have to, Mom? Do I have to, Dad?
Sometimes you do, right? Doesn't have to be an example for others.
Yeah, and in the previous questions, that's when we were talking about missions. And there was pretty much half of the conversation we had yesterday about the book Renuncia, okay? So yeah, so Kardec asked, is it necessary if I follow the path of goodness from the beginning? And the spirits answer. Can someone read for us, please?
All are created simple and ignorant, learning through the struggles and tribulations of corporeal life.
Mhm.
Since God is just, God will not make some blissful without their having deserved it through hardship.
God doesn't give free passes because then he would have some favorites, right? Does God play favorites? In order to deserve something, we need to work for it. Isn't it what our parents taught us? Money doesn't grow in trees, right? Isn't it true? Isn't that what we learned? And for those who are parents, what we try to teach our kids, that things don't fall from the sky. You need to earn them, not get or win, but earn. And this, it's hard to do that in Portuguese because it's the same word, but we have to earn through work. And again, work isn't always easy, right? Okay, and then Kardec is very persistent. He asks something else based on the same question. So it's 133A. But then, what good does it do for spirits to follow the path of morality if it does not exempt them from the hardships of corporeal life? What's in it for me if I'm good? Can you pick up what Kardec's putting down? Do you see where he's coming from? Like, why should I be good then if there's no exemption for me? What do you think? Click, 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 click. Okay, I won't make you work too hard. It's Sunday morning. They reach the goal more quickly because they earned it. They don't have to go through a lot of suffering like those who don't choose the path of goodness. Doesn't it make sense? Is it logical? Besides, the hardships of life are often consequences of a spirit's imperfections. The more purified it becomes, the fewer torments it will suffer. Those who are not envious, jealous, greedy, or ambitious will not have to endure the torments that result from such defects. Does that make sense? If I'm a jealous person and my neighbor buys an amazing car that I've dreamed of my whole life, am I going to suffer from that? Yes. It's like it's my life dream and he has it. Right? However, if I drive a beat-up car and I couldn't care less, does it make a difference to me what my neighbor has? I won't suffer. So as we evolve, like he says, the more purified, as we evolve, as we transform all of these into essential feelings, into love, compassion, understanding, we don't suffer anymore. Because if I don't have this defect, it doesn't affect me anymore. Right? So far, so good? Okay. Now, chapter 5. Why do we reincarnate? Okay, Lord, I came, I did, I conquered. Yes, I'm done. Check. Yeah, not exactly. So why do we have to reincarnate? Question 166. How can the soul that has not reached perfection during its corporeal life complete the work of its purification? Now you gave the answer to this one before. And the answer is super simple. By submitting to the trial of the new existence. Try again. Right?
Keep working.
Yes. Keep up the good work. Go again. And then, the next question. What is the purpose of reincarnation? In other words, why do we reincarnate? Doesn't it sound like the same question? Yeah. Kardec was a very smart guy. He wouldn't ask the same question, and he knew exactly where he was going. And that's something that we always need to remember. If you go to the Spirit's book from question 1 on, what Kardec does is build up our knowledge from zero, from what is God, to our moral life, okay? Beginning to end. And that's exactly what he's doing here. His methodology is to build on the understanding of things, okay? I understood, yeah, try again, good. But then Kardec wants to go deeper. He wants more specific answers to what he's looking for, not just a general one. And then he says, what's the purpose? Okay, so if I haven't done it, I come back and do it again. But what's the purpose of it? Where am I going with this? Or where is God going with this? Expiation and humankind's progressive improvement. Without reincarnation, where would justice be? Right? You have one attempt. You didn't succeed. Hell, purgatory, right? For eternity. And on top of that, I'll make one poor, one rich, one healthy, one sick. Go, do your best. Would God be fair? Would God be just if he did that? Definitely not. That's why we reincarnate. Okay? And expiation and humankind's progressive improvement. Something else, we usually think of reincarnation in personal terms, right? What it means to me. If we think, let's think about a planet with 7 billion evolved, good people. Would it be any different from what it is today? We can't have a group, a whole, a neighborhood, a community, a city, state or province, country, continent or planet. It can't be better without the individuals being better. You can't have a good collective with bad individuals. For a good collective, we need good individuals. So when we are evolving, we're not doing that just for ourselves. We're doing that for humankind so that the whole planet becomes better. For us, for our family, for our children, right? For everybody who is coming after us. And then one of the most important questions in the Spirit's book is question 171. I recommend you read it. But here we're only going to look at a comment from Kardec. The question is about the dogma of reincarnation. Dogma not in the sense that most churches use, like, you know, it is what it is, there's no explanation. Dogma in the sense that it's a principle that we accept as a truth, that we reincarnate. And that comes from the communication with spirits. They tell us that we reincarnate. And then the spirits answer. And then there's a long comment from Kardec about it. And we're going to look at just the first paragraph. And again, the comment is very enlightening. But then he says, can someone read for us, please?
All spirits are headed towards perfection, and God furnishes them with the means of realizing it through trials of corporeal life. Out of divine justice, God allows them to accomplish in new existences whatever they could not do or complete in a previous trial. Okay,
he summarized everything we saw before right here, right? Like I said, very smart guy. So out of divine justice, God allows them to accomplish in new existences whatever they could not do or complete in a previous trial. Let's try again, right? Okay. And then in the Gospel according to Spiritism, in chapter 4, item 26, Allan Kardec compares the successive reincarnations with passing grades at school. And when we saw that the answer from the spirits that say, when Allan Kardec, then what's the point of being good if I'm not like skipping to the end? And then Kardec compares to a school, that good students pass a lot faster than the students who don't learn and have to go back and do the same thing over and over again. Because that's the thing. Expiations are trials. When we are repairing a mistake, that's a trial, é uma prova. It's a test for us. We can pass or fail. If we repair our mistakes, we pass. If we go through all that pain or suffering again and still don't learn from it, we're going to keep coming back for that same thing over and over and over and over until we learn. But let's think about school. That's one subject. We have a whole lot of other subjects. So if I am not becoming, for example, a patient person, but I am developing other virtues, I will keep repeating my trials for patience, but I could be passing my trials, my tests for other virtues. Or, I don't know, meekness, humility. So, let's say each virtue is a subject. So, the pain and the suffering comes not from coming back, because we keep coming back to do different subjects, to develop different virtues, okay? The pain and suffering comes from having to repeat the same subject again and again and again and again and again, because we're not learning. So the pain and suffering doesn't come from having to reincarnate. It comes from having to deal with the same subject over and over and over and over again. Because every time we don't pass that trial, usually we acquire more debt on that same virtue that we haven't been able to develop. Okay? So, and the comparison with a school is great, because we see some genius kids who skip like 2, 3, 4 grades. But have you ever seen a 10-year-old with a university degree without having gone through the tests at least? No. We see 14-year-olds in university because they're little geniuses, but they don't have a doctor's degree if they don't take the tests, if they don't study for it. So they can get there faster, but they cannot skip the tests. They cannot skip the trials. The difference is that they pass the trials a lot more easily than most. All right? So far, so good? Okay. Can someone read for us, please? Oh, sorry. So that's Allan Kardec's comment on question 171 in the Spirit's book. Okay, now that we went through reincarnation, we can start talking about gratitude. So, what is gratitude?
Be thankful for something.
Yeah, but like, is it words? Is it saying thank you? Good manners?
You really feel it.
Is gratitude only something I say?
You should be happy inside about everything.
Okay. Does that mean I shouldn't be saying thank you anymore? Can I skip on good manners? No, please, please, please don't tell anybody I said you don't have to say thank you anymore, because that's not gratitude. We still need good manners, okay? We still live in a world and we still need good manners. So don't say I said that. I'll deny it. Okay. But why should I feel grateful for suffering? How can I be happy inside when it hurts?
Because then you learn and then you don't suffer anymore because you pass that test.
Okay, but am I going to be grateful only after I pass the test?
I guess what you mean is while the suffering is happening, right? You still have to be thankful for it. So this is where you have to really identify and be grateful even if you're suffering. So I guess we have to be thankful because we're having another chance to fix what we haven't fixed.
Okay, so maybe here the problem is in the language, right? Is it the suffering we're thankful for? Is it the suffering itself? Oh, Lord, thank you so much that it hurts.
No, it's for the opportunity.
Have you ever heard people saying that? Have we ever heard?
No.
In Spiritism, have we ever heard from Spiritists? You have to be thankful for your pain. Pain purifies you. They say that the pain or the suffering is the expiation. Is that correct? And I have to be thankful for that. Have you ever seen that? In English, probably not. But in Portuguese, like on those memes, on those beautiful nature pictures that say that suffering purifies the soul. And if I'm suffering, I'm passing my trial. Is that correct? Because that's widely said in Brazil. In Brazil, it's very common for spiritists to say and to think that the suffering is purifying their soul.
Can I say something?
Of course.
What I think about this, you are never thankful for suffering. I never. But as soon you go through all the suffering and it becomes past, everything you learn from that, and then you feel grateful inside because, let's see, you are suffering because you are jealous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then after you go through that and inside you don't feel grateful anymore because you are jealous, you say thank you because this doesn't matter for you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's when you're done, but nobody's like thankful because it's suffering. It's very hard. Suffering goes through all the problems and all that thing that makes you feel like down inside. But as soon as it does not matter for you anymore, all these feelings that make you inferior.
Yep.
Then you are grateful because it does not matter for you anymore. So you don't feel like, and then you are like close and close to something higher.
Okay.
This is what I feel.
Okay. You are on the path I want, but you are a bit ahead of me. Okay, but we're gonna touch that one. No, why would you be? We're gonna touch on that. So excellent observation, because the key point that we're gonna talk about is how do I get there? Because in theory, it's very simple. In theory, it's very simple. But how do I get there? How do I get you not being jealous anymore? Okay. Why should I feel grateful for repeating a trial? Why should I be grateful for doing the same subject again and again and again and again and again and again?
Because you try to reach perfection. You should be grateful for the trial.
This is how we, both the suffering and the repeating a trial, this is how we explain to ourselves why we should be thankful for suffering and why we should be thankful for repeating a trial. But like I gave you a hint in the first question, the problem here is that we are not giving ourselves the right explanation because we're not thankful, or we shouldn't. Like, why should I feel grateful for suffering or repeating a trial? That's not the point. That's what we explain to ourselves. But the point is not being grateful for suffering or for repeating a trial. That's a superficial understanding. That's what society tells us. That's what religion in general tells us. Be grateful for your pain. Be grateful for your suffering. But that's very superficial. First, we need to understand what's underneath the suffering. Why am I suffering? Why am I repeating a trial? Just like Diego said. So why is that happening? So instead of just saying in words, in my brain, in my prayers, thank you, Lord, for the pain. Thank you that I'm here again. Thank you for another opportunity. We need a deeper understanding, because this only touches our brain. But does it touch our heart? Does knowing that I can't be jealous fix it? Just my brain knowing? Will it fix it? I have to feel it in my heart. right? So, in the book, Energia dos Chakras e o Poder Terapêutico da Gratidão, this guy here, okay, and I'll tell you, there's so much in here. It breaks down gratitude in smaller chunks so that we can actually digest and understand what it is. Because we think of gratitude as one virtue, one feeling, one thing. Oh, it's made up of a whole lot of things. And this book breaks it down in a way that we can actually understand. We're like, oh, I had so many aha moments here. So in this book, one of the things that Alírio says, Alírio de Cerqueira Filho is the author, one of the things he says is, it's not the words, compliments, speeches, or excited prayers that show gratitude for God. Only when the spirit chooses their own evolution by realizing that they are an apprentice of life in the process of infinite progress until they reach the condition of pure spirit. So only then they can offer the first true and sincere movement of gratitude to God. So the key here is only when we truly, not just in our mouth, not just in our brain, but only when we truly feel like an apprentice of life, when we feel that we are here to learn, only at this moment, our gratitude will start to be true. Because if I only say, thank you, Lord, for the suffering, thank you, Lord, for the pain, thank you, Lord, for doing it again, do I understand? Do I feel that I'm here to learn? If I'm going like, oh, again. That's because I don't feel it. It's not true in my heart. My brain can tell me that as many times as possible, but I don't feel it in my heart. And why don't I feel it in my heart? Because I don't feel like I'm here to learn. And in general, for example, at a moment that I'm losing my patience, can I choose to be patient? Is there an exercise I can do? Okay. If I am anxious, in a moment of anxiety, can I choose serenity? Is there any exercise that I can choose to calm myself down? Yeah? Can I choose to be grateful? Is there an exercise that I do like right now? Because with patience, for example, or serenity, many times I will do my breathing exercise, I will do yoga, I will do something that will alleviate that heavy thing at the very moment. Is it the same with gratitude? Can I choose instantly an exercise right here and now? Is saying I am grateful the same as feeling grateful? The challenge experiences. What are challenge experiences? How can we understand this expression? This is like a new expression. What is a challenge experience? It's exactly what it says. It's an experience that challenges me. If we go back to the language we were reading in the Spirit's book, it's a trial, right? So it's an experience that will challenge me. I can succeed or I can fail my challenge. Isn't that right? Okay. No matter the result, if I succeed or if I fail, in both situations, can I learn? Do I learn from my successes? Do I learn from my failures? Yes. So every challenge we have, every experience that is a challenge has two possible outcomes, success or failure. no matter what, I can learn from both of them. Just like we cannot learn from any of them, okay? But that's our attitude towards life. So the challenge experiences we face do not require forceful solutions. Like, I can't be jealous of my neighbor. I can't be jealous of his car. I want to force myself not to. I want to sweep my jealousy under the rug. I won't see, nobody will see. I will go there, say, congratulations, that's an amazing car. So the challenge experiences we face do not require forceful solutions, and we cannot avoid them through inertia. I'm not going to do anything, it's going to go away. It is vital that we get close to the solutions in order to solve them in an easy and light manner. And this easy and light here, this is actually something about, remember Jesus's invitation? All you who are burdened and weary, come to me, and I will relieve your suffering, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. O meu jugo é suave e o meu fardo é leve. So this easy and light is exactly from the easy yoke and the light burden that Jesus offers us when we try to find the solution instead of forcing something because I need to do it right away. It requires reflection. Why am I feeling jealous? So how do I get to not feeling like that? We need to reflect on it. We need to think about it. Trying to force something, it's not going to work. I think most of us probably know that at this point. Trying to ignore it is not going to make it go away. So we know that too at this point. So we need to reflect to find a solution. Okay. And then he goes on to say, the solution to our problems is only possible if we, this is accept, ACC, aceitar. If we, I was dictating to the computer. If we accept Jesus's invitation, all you who are weary and burdened, come to me, to be apprentices, because he says, all you who are weary and burdened, come to me and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. Okay, so accept his invitation, go to him, become apprentices, because through this attitude, we learn under all circumstances. Remember the challenge experience? If I succeed, I learn. If I fail, I learn. Only if I have the apprentice attitude. Because when I'm too proud, that's not going to work. I already know that. I don't need to learn it. I know, right? The apprentice focuses on the solution. Sorry, this should be solution to the problem. We don't focus on the problem. We focus on how to solve it. Okay? Not forcefully, not ignoring it. Reflecting on the solution. Okay, so the apprentice feeling. Is it a virtue? Is it a virtue to feel like an apprentice? I have to clarify this for you, Marcia. Every month here at FSS, we have a monthly virtue, which is a virtue that we try to focus on for the whole month. And we also work on that specific virtue with the kids on Sunday. So we had the apprentice feeling 2 months ago. So we were focused on the apprentice feeling. The apprentice feeling actually comes from 2 other virtues. Can anybody remember? Because the apprentice feeling was 2 months ago. The other 2 virtues were 3 and 4 months ago. Because we built up, we had the 2 other virtues, then we had the apprentice feeling. Can anybody remember what other virtues do I need to feel like an apprentice? Humbleness or humility, same thing. What else? Can I be an apprentice if I don't feel humble? If I don't feel humble, I'll feel like I'm the master already. Nobody's got anything to teach me. Okay. What else? Just being humble? Okay, I'll help you because we're also running out of time. Meekness, right? A lot of people mistake meekness for weakness. They think that being meek is, being a mat for everybody to step on. That's not what it is. In English, I don't know if it's Protestant or Catholic Church that has kind of a motto that says, meekness is not weakness. It's power under control. And this is perfect. It's power under control. And who is our best example, as always? Jesus. Did Jesus ever stay quiet? Did he ever abstain from speaking when he saw something wrong? When he saw the merchants in the temple, did he just go like, I'm not going to say anything? No. When he was slapped on the face in the temple, what did he do? Can anybody remember?
Show the other cheek.
How did he show the other cheek? By shutting up? Or did he say something to the... I can't remember the word in English or in Portuguese. I think it was sacerdote. It wasn't a priest. It was someone from the clergy that slapped him. He said something to the person. What did he say? He offered the cheek by saying something, by being authentic, being true to himself. He asked, why did you hit me? If I did something wrong, I'm sorry. And if I didn't do, why did you hit me? He offered the other cheek by making the guy who did it reflect on his actions, think about what he had done. So he was meek by not slapping back. He was meek by paying evil with goodness. That's how he was meek. And that's what meek is. It's when I can slap back, physically or metaphorically, and I choose not to. I keep my temper, myself, under control. Isn't that absolutely essential to be an apprentice? Right? And that's the thing. How can we feel grateful if we're not humble, if we're not meek, if we don't feel like an apprentice? How can I thank God for suffering, which I'm not thanking him for the suffering, I'm thanking him for the opportunity to fix what I had done, if I don't have these? So gratitude is actually a virtue that comes from other virtues. And this is what I mean by he broke down in chunks. And this is why you had the initial right idea that even though I can choose to be patient at a specific moment, I cannot choose to be grateful at a specific moment, because I have to work myself up to gratitude through these other virtues. Does it make sense? Had anybody ever thought of that? Okay, so it is a matter of choice. We have to choose, but we have to choose to humble ourselves, to control our power, feel like an apprentice, and then we'll be able to feel true gratitude. True gratitude. Because words are easy, feelings, and we can lie to everybody, but we can't lie to our conscience. All right? Okay. And I had to leave that there because that baby is just adorable. So how can we develop virtues? So there are several exercises that we can do. So right now, I'm just going to give an example for humbleness or humility. So let's say I realize in a certain situation, first of all, I need to be paying attention to myself, right? So I need to realize that I was proud in a certain situation. I realize it, and I'm like, that's not how it was supposed to be. I'm supposed to be humble. How can I reflect on this, and how can I work it out within myself? First thing I need to do, it's the first phase. I need to accept that pride is still present in my behavior today. As much as my brain knows I need to be humble, my behavior still has pride in it. First thing I need to do, I need to accept that. Because if I keep telling everybody and myself, I'm humble, I'm humble, I'm humble, I can't fix something I don't admit that needs fixing. Second phase, after I accept, I need to embrace. Not embrace like, yay, good job. Embrace in the sense that I understand, I welcome that pride as an instinct. Because it's not the thing, pride is not the thing that we choose. I am going to be prideful now. It happens. What we need to pay attention is that we want to change that pride, because the pride comes because it comes from our instincts of self-preservation. That's where it comes from. But we need to embrace and understand that it comes from instinct. Okay, so yes, I have that inside me. It is what it is. I understand that. Oops, sorry. And I need to understand that at the same time, it's a tool. Because the moment I realized pride is present, that's the tool I need to change it into something else. Right? If I don't see it's there, I can't change it. So I will understand that it's there, and I need to transform it into humility or humbleness. And then the next step is experience. It's the exercise that I'm going to do. Okay? So the third phase, the experience, is when I experience the pleasure and the joy of recognizing that I am making an effort. What effort am I making? I accept it. I embraced it. Right? So I am making an effort to change. I want to change. I don't want to be or feel like that anymore. So I will experience okay, I'm here. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to change my attitude of pride. Then, the fourth phase, awareness. So I am aware of the effects that my pride have. Maybe I hurt someone's feelings. Maybe I even harmed a chance at work because of my pride. I might have missed a promotion because I mistreated my boss, or I was prideful with someone I shouldn't have. So I am going to be aware of all the effects of what I did and all the effects of my happy decision to change it. I will be aware of what's going to happen because I decided to change. I am not going to miss opportunities anymore. I am not going to hurt someone's feeling. Sometimes parents, children, friends. So being aware of the positive results that my efforts are going to have is essential. And then I get to gratitude. I will only feel truly grateful the moment that I decide to make that change and I'm aware of the good it's going to do for my own self, then I can truly be thankful to God, be thankful for my life, not for suffering, not for trying again, but thankful for my life. And thankful to myself as well for the efforts that I'm making. I do deserve a pat in the back because I am making true efforts to change, to be a better person for myself, and as a consequence, for everybody around me. When we try to change for others, it's not a true change because we need to change for ourselves. Everything else will be a consequence of it. Okay? So just to, if anybody wants to take a picture or whatever, so I summarize. That was specifically for pride to develop humility, to transform pride into humility. This is kind of the exercise for anything, to turn anxiety into serenity, to turn, I don't know, impatience into patience. The exercise works for any egotistic feeling that we want to transform into a virtue, which is the same as an essential feeling. You're going to see the word essential feeling here, but it's the same as virtue. So the first phase, acceptance. Accept the instinctive manifestation as traces of the primitivity we still bring within us, our instincts, that automatic reaction that we are trying to change. Second phase, embrace. Embrace the instinctive manifestation as energies to be transformed into essential energies or virtue, and not to be repressed or poured over. Okay? So I embrace it as an energy that I need to transform. And I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not there, because it's not going to go anywhere. Third phase, experience. Experience the essential pleasure of making efforts to gradually, it's not automatic, it's not a switch you turn on and off, it's gradual. So experience the essential pleasure of making efforts to gradually sublimize or elevate the instinctive pleasures, transforming them into essential pleasures that elevate the spirit. Humility is going to do a lot more for me than pride. Serenity is going to do a lot more for me than anxiety. Patience is going to do a lot more for me than impatience. Fourth phase, awareness. Become aware of the essential effects of the happy decision to sublimize the instincts. Think about all the benefits we're going to collect from that decision. And at last, thank God, thank life, and thank yourself for the opportunity of evolving. Sorry, not involving. Evolving. Computer doesn't understand me. My accent's too thick. So at last, thank God, thank life, and thank yourself for the opportunity of evolving by transforming instincts into essential feelings or virtues. Does that make sense? Yep. Like I said, he breaks into much smaller chunks than this. He talks about the 3 dimensions of gratitude. Gratitude to ourselves, gratitude to our neighbors, like biblical neighbors, and gratitude towards God. And he explains what each one is. It is absolutely awesome. So we're done. We're done. Do you guys have something for us? Yeah. Okay. So, and this is the bibliography. Okay. So the kids are going to show us what they did today. And then we're going to do our final prayer and pass it. Okay. We're ready.
Okay. All right, Sophie will tell us a story today about gratitude. And it's a very nice story about the Come here, baby.
I'm hungry now.
Come here a little bit so you can see what is on the screen. Okay? Yeah, there you go. So,
Okay.
this is the story about the big cookie.
The big cookie.
Once a day, Johnny had a cookie for breakfast. It was the most yummy cookie ever. And he went to his mom to say, Mommy, I thank you for the wonderful cookie you gave me for breakfast. And then his mom answered him that, hey, Johnny, you don't need to thank me, but you gotta thank who?
The baker.
The baker. And then Johnny ran to the bakery and said, hey, Mr. Baker, my mom gave me a nice cookie this morning, and I thanked her, but she told me, no, dear, you gotta thank the baker. So I am here to thank you. But the baker answered, hey, Johnny, it's very kind of you, but you don't need to thank me. You have to thank who?
The farmer.
The farmer who made the flour for the cookie. And then Johnny ran to the farm and looked to the farmer and told him, today, this morning, my mom gave me a nice and beautiful cookie, and I thanked her for that. But she told me to go thank the baker. And then when I did it, the baker also told me, you don't need to thank me. You have to thank the farmer who made the wheat for the flour. And then the farmer answered him, sorry, Johnny, you don't need to thank me. You gotta thank who?
The wheat.
The wheat. And then Johnny ran to the field and to thank the wheat. And he told the whole story about his mom, the baker, and the farmer. And the wheat answered him, well, you don't need to thank me as well, Johnny, because who helped me to grow strong was who?
The rain.
The rain. The rain gave me the strength to grow. And then he waited the rain to come, picked up his umbrella, and told the whole story for the rain as well. And then the rain also answered him, well, John, it's very kind of you, but you don't need to thank me. I was just doing a little part of that. You really need to thank who?
The sun.
The sun. And then Johnny was very patient and he waited for the sun. When the sun came out, he also told the whole story about his mom, the baker, the farmer, the wheat, the rain. And then the sun also told him, hey, Johnny, you don't need to really thank me, but you have to thank who gave me the sunshine. You have to thank who gave the rain, the water to boost the wheat. You have to thank who made the field for the wheat to grow. You have to thank who gave the farmer the wisdom to make the wheat turn to flour. You have to thank
Our alarm, our sensor is extremely sensitive, and I think he was heating something up. I don't know. I think he was trying to heat up something in the oven. É, eu tô sentindo o cheirinho. Talvez a gente tenha que pagar uma multa bem salgada.
não é alarme falso, se não é incêndio. Eu acho que o Eric vai tentar.
Eu acho que ele tem que
Obrigatoriamente.
E depois falar, não precisa mais, eles ainda tem que checar.
A não ser que seja acidente e o bombeiro fale para eles que não precisa mais ir também.
Mas aí eu não prende.
Eu acho que sim. Alguém ainda está dormindo?
Tá quenteiro, não sei de quê.
É o Eric que pôs alguma coisa para esquentar no forninho e queimou. Não vai me dizer que a torta queimou.
Não é a torta.
Eles estão bem perto. Eu acho que é, infelizmente. Não é igual de casa que a gente desliga. Em casa a gente desliga, mas
o bombeiro tem a chave, eles têm que ir no quadro e... Bom, tecnicamente a gente tem que sair, né?
Tecnicamente, eu acho que eu vou ouvir esse apito até a hora de dormir hoje.
Sorry, guys.
It happens. I know.
Não vai ficar aí, Renato. Acabou a reunião.
Agora eu quero saber o resto da história.
Eu já sei.
Eu acho que eu sei.
Who does Johnny need to thank next? Is it God? Thank you for telling me because I really wanted to know the end. I know it is.
Eu acho que vai estar igual. Voltando mais aí. Good job, Sophie.
Eu acho que o bombeiro tem que diminuir. A gente pode ligar para o nosso bombeiro.
Primeira vez que acontece, na verdade. Falei pra Márcia que a gente faz novos nervos.
É uma homenagem especial. Você tá aqui pra fazer como assim, ó.
Nossa!
Olha meus olhos.
Inteiro pra cá.
experiência que faz para mim. Então, a gente tem trabalhado muito mais com a questão, não só do conhecimento, mas do conhecimento aliado ao sentimento e à vivência. Então, o meu cérebro está sem conhecimento ali. Mas eu sei que eu tenho que ser grato. Eu não sei ser grato, na verdade. E eu expresso isso nas minhas atitudes, as minhas ações físicas, eu sou grata. Por exemplo, eu sou o efeito de gratidão quando as atitudes são só para as minhas palavras.
Na hora, eu chamar. Vocês querem subir? Vamos para fora.
Comercial, na hora que vai direto.
Vai direto pro governo. Tesoureiro, já separa nossa multa aí. Paga porque não é
Mas, Renata, eu liguei lá e falei que não era nada. Eles falaram que
Ah, que bom.
Ele tá que nem a regra, tá dormindo em pé. Tá que nem a regra também. Até parece bom. Minha esposa é assim também. Que nem pesa.
Vai dormir bem, eu achei que eu dormia bem.
O segundo sempre dá uma melhor que o primeiro, né?
É verdade.
Já na casa não, mas não.
Eu não posso reclamar de nenhum dos dois. O Gabriel com ele com ele na cama, ele dormiu. Só que eu dormi nervosa, eu estava lá na cama e ela não dormia. Não, meus dois, eu tive sorte com eles. Vai dormir, que idade o braço? Não, agora ela dorme. Que idade? 6. Eu tenho um de 3 e uma de 10. No Brasil. Eles fazem de propósito para castigar, tipo assim, já que você me chamaram a cozinhar, você vai ver esse negócio. Aprender. Né? Olha a nossa experiência desafio. Então, ele pôs o fone por muito tempo também. Nossa, ontem eu e a Carol estamos falando, nossa, que falta de fazer uma cozinha aqui, né?
Todo estrago que não tem.
Desliga, pelo amor de Deus. Nós estragamos para todo mundo, né?
Você tá dançando negócio pra lá fora, cara.
Nós estragamos para todo mundo. Poxa vida. Eu vou dormir ouvindo esse negócio. Fala para ele que a gente dá torta, bolo, tudo pra eles, se eles ligarem esse negócio. Todos esses anos dessa vida vital, essa é a primeira vez que isso me acontece.
Ficou agradecido.
Nossa, meu ouvido apitando, né?
Can you hear my thoughts again?
Eu ainda não.
Ela Ela ia repetir, ela
Vai,
quase,
Vitor!
quase que ela repete.
Vitor! Gente, o David tá dormindo. Ele acordou.
Foi em cima dele.
Não, antes ele acordou. Acho que isso, não sei, mas eu até brinco com as meninas. Falei assim: ele acordou porque a gente tá conversando.
Sophie.
Nossa, ele tá pintando.
Vai pegar seu nome.
Parece que eu fui em show de heavy metal lá no estádio do Morumbi, fiquei na frente da caixa. Ai, no resto do prédio ainda tá, ó.
Ainda tá? Mas só quando o prédio todo?
Bom,
É porque é prédio também.
e ainda mais se fosse realmente incêndio, né? Começando daqui de baixo, era bom que todo mundo saísse. Nossa Senhora.
Thank you for the fine man.
Só falar pro Johnny, falar thank you.
Thank you for the fine man. Muito bom.
Never wake sleeping baby.
Só cuidando?
Acho que foi. Não foi o barulho, foi a sopa desse pote. Então, isso foi uma anomalia. Geralmente as crianças, quando tem alguma coisa para apresentar, eles apresentam. E aí a gente faz a oração final e fazemos a sessão de paz. Às segundas-feiras nós temos reunião em português, né? De domingo em inglês, né? Das 11 ao meio-dia. Em português, a gente, de segunda, tem. A gente começa às 7, das 7 às 7h45, uma pequena.
E entre a palestra, e tudo passa.
E entre a palestra e o estudo passa. Todo mês nós temos ou um evento de andaria a fundo, que invariavelmente envolve comida, ou o Clube do Livro. Então, nós revezamos, né? Os meses ímpares tem Clube do Livro e os meses pares tem evento fundraising pra gente. E pra gente socializar também.
E a gente vai fazer os passos aí.
Eu não sei, o Eric
Então,
Pois é,
eu acho que ele tá com o bombeiro. Porque ainda tá tocando no resto do prédio o alarme. Tá. Vocês não estão ouvindo?
mas vai ser o outro.
Agora
Parece diferente daqui. Será que é o caminhão do bombeiro? Pode ser o caminhão do bombeiro que tá com o sirene ligado. Pelo amor de Deus, vai ali na porta e fala que você tá escutando, senão eu já fiquei louca.
Não, eu tô escutando também.
Bom, ufa!
You watched the race this morning?
Agora sim.
Nossa! Menina, você já me então, a gente acha que talvez seja caminhão do bombeiro, porque é muito diferente do que estava aqui. É que geralmente esse assim já. Eu sou firework, então na verdade aquele, se fosse incêndio de verdade, é muito mais, são 120 bits por minuto. Bom, eu tô escutando o pi, meu ouvido disso, né? E lá eu tô.
Não, mas eu acho que se fosse no prédio, a gente.
Acho que o alarme é integrado.
E aí tem as luzes também. Deve ser lá. Porque eles têm que ficar com a sirene ligada, eu acho. Deve ser isso, mas eu não tô ficando.
Será que eles ficam muito bravos?
Olha, eu acho, assim, né? Não sei. Se eu fosse pensar por mim, talvez seja um incômodo, mas ao mesmo tempo é melhor que não seja nada, que seja um incêndio, alguém se machucou, perdendo material.
Isso acontece
Pela lógica, né?
Acontece muito. No meu trabalho acontece muito.
Eu não sou bombeiro.
Agora
Verdade!
história pra você.
Eu quero saber o final dessa história. Eu também quero saber para quem que ele teve que falar thank you.
Tudo bem.
How old are you? Quantos anos você tem?
Esqueceu.
Não, ela sabe, é que eu acho que ela tá na dúvida. Semana passada.
Mas
Semana passada ela mentiu.
Eu tive.
Aí um amiguinho corrigiu ela.
Eu
Quantos anos você tem, Sô?
Você tem 2.
Você tem 2?
não.
10. Você tem 10.
Eu acho
Não?
que é 15.
Não.
Quantos você tem?
6?
Sim.
5?
5 ou 6? You have to tell the truth. 5 ou 6? Então, é 5. Semana passada ela foi corrigida. É, vai
You're
turn
turning
6,
6
né?
when, you know?
É, vai turn. She's turning 6. October.
October what?
What day? Do you know? 1, 2, 3, 10, 30?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I think it's a lot.
When is your birthday? October what? What day? Like
100.
That totally answers the question. Ana Clara's birthday is February 15th. E o Gabriel é July 4th. No, June 4th.
I think Oliver. It's
Não.
Esqueceu.
A gente pergunta pro papai.
Tudo bem, a minha também vai esquecer.
Nessa idade, a Maria
No, I think of one. A day is
Né? Mas graças a Deus.
Então, mas olha só que interessante, eu já me acho super nova.
Minha mãe fala a mesma
A hora
coisa.
que você chega no topo, assim, a hora que você começa a descer a ribanceira, você fala,
Velha, no grand scheme of things, mas sou mais velha, é um ajuste, né?
inevitável.
Inevitável, melhor que a alternativa.
Queria
ter mais da vida. Né?
Ai, não.
Então, acho que quando eu chegar nos 30, vamos começar 29, 28, 27, 25.
Não, isso
Aí
é só
depois
nos 40.
25, 26.
Não, isso é só nos 40.
É,
Os 30 ainda não pode, não.
Vai ter 25 com conhecimento. Quando você chegar em
É, então.
né?
I know what day it is.
Qual é?
Mas sabe o que eu chego à conclusão? Que se eu tivesse a cabeça que eu tenho hoje com 25, eu não teria amigo nenhum.
Sério?
Não é porque com
Com
a sabedoria, com a sabedoria que você tem, uma pessoa de 25 que vai falar, nossa, que velha chata. Porque com essa idade eu já não tô mais
Fireman deu um dog pra
interessada
você.
em balada, em... né?
Yeah, it's the fire dog.
Quando eu tinha 25 anos, se eu vou casar, se eu não vou, se eu vou ter filho, se eu não vou.
I think I have this dog.
Been there, done that.
Can you feed the dog?
Been there, done that, put the t-shirt. Não, já que eu fiz marco esses aí.
I got three.
Faz uma pouquinho aí.
Oh, I got this. Look, he gave, I think it's,
You think it's what? 12? You think it's October 12th?
no,
No?
October what?
Your birthday. Bom, você já sabe outubro, já no começo.
Já é um bom começo.
I think I said,
It's a lot.
it's a lot because October is a lot. It's a lot because,
October is a lot.
Você falou a lá?
Esse conceito foi profundo. Você precisa repetir.
like,
Como é que você chegou nisso?
am I?
Eles deram pra ela.
Ah, você ganhou um dog do Firefighter? Ai, que bonitinho. Ah, eu vou te dar essa mãe.
Oh, esse é o cachorro, você viu?
Ela ganhou no governo. Da Alicia Kelby atrás.
He said, my suffer is
20? Yes.
I like that dog.
So cute, Sophie. Good for you.
You got it.
okay. I can only tell a story.
You're gonna tell us a story. We're listening.
Okay.
Oh.
And when this dog is gonna help me.
Yeah.
What's his name? It's always good to have a helper. What's the story about?
Johnny.
Johnny?
The dog name is Daniel.
Danny, okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes?
Okay.
Shoot.
First it is when the sun shines. The shine a lot and shines. Somebody rains a lot and somebody will rain so strong with the farmer plant flower so strong and somebody help bake the baker and their dad's work and buy money of a big cookie and the mommy it's good and somebody the mom make be careful make a big cookie. Can you guess what it is? Who did?
Who?
It's God.
Muito bem.
Acabou a historinha muito bom, Sophie.
Very good.
Good job. High five.
Ready to. Very good. Ó, é maior candidata aí para liderar seu grupo de teatro.
Não é?
Ah,
Good job, girl.
Fazer a prece final, então, tá? Sim.
Então, não sei, eu tô esperando o Eric, né? Precisamos fazer a prece final com certeza. Mas, deixa eu voltar o Eric, porque ele tá se acertando lá.
Eu acho que o dono precisa aparecer. Tá de volta, não. O dono precisa aparecer aqui. E ele tá vindo.
Agradecemos a todos pela paciência.
Paciência foi o ano passado, né? A gente vai continuar tendo paciência.
Gratidão que foi um alarme falso.
Olha, a hora que acaba a virtude do mês, a gente ainda tem que praticar.
Isso não é só do mês.
Só naquele mês.
E aí, que eu entendi que ela precisa acabar a história, né? Que graça.
E assim, bom, conheci a Sofia, ela não tinha nem cabelo, que dirá falar. Mas eu não sei se vocês prestaram atenção, mas ela fez a história de volta, né, inteirinha. Porque se ela fosse só terminar, era só falar que era agora. E aí não ia ter história para contar. Aí ela fez a volta certinha, né? Retrace her steps.
É verdade.
Porque senão, que história que ela ia contar se fosse só o final?
Pois é. Dá para ver bastante a evolução dela, né?
Nossa, na evangelização infantil, poxa vida, quando começou, era difícil de fazer a Sophie sentar e hoje ela é uma das mais comportadas, mais participativas. A mudança na... Bom, porque eu falei, conheci a Sophie, não tinha cabelo, olha o tamanho do cabelo dela agora. Mas, nossa, a mudança na Sophie é uma loucura.
Será que a gente faz os passos? esses negócios.
Então, eu não sei, oração final nós precisamos fazer, mas eu não sei se o velho vai querer fazer passo, não sei.
Cadê o bebezinho dele?
Ambiente.
Tá com ele. Aí o David começou a chorar, daí o Renato levou pra ele. Eu até tentei acalmar ele um pouquinho, mas acho que viu o pai, sabe?
Quando ele viu o pai, acabou.
Na volta da mãe, o pai zero.
Acho que não viu o pai.
Quando eu não vi ninguém, né?
Aquele barulho. Cadê meu pai,
Meu
né?
cachorro estava calmo. Quando vão ver você quer ver o Troy? O filhinho do Troy?
Eu quero, posso ir.
Mas que graça eles darem bichinho com as crianças, né? Chicas,
É uma experiência extremamente desagradável para as crianças, né? O alarme e tudo.
Isso já
Então,
é
é uma
super-
ideia muito legal.
É muito legal.
Para não ficar aquela lembrança ruim, né? A lembrança que vai ficar para sua filha não vai ser do barulho, vai ser do cachorro pela primeira.
Muito legal. Pra gente já é super desconfortável.
Eu falei, vou sonhar com esse alarme hoje. Quando o Gabriel nasceu, ele chorou por 4 meses de noite sem parar. Às vezes eu punha ele para tirar uma soneca para poder tomar um banho ou tirar um cochilo. Eu estava dentro do chuveiro, eu estava ouvindo, tinha certeza que ele estava chorando. Eu desligava o chuveiro e ele estava dormindo. Eu ligava o chuveiro, eu ouvia ele chorando. Eu deitava na cama, eu ouvia ele chorando. Aí, dava aquela despertada.
Nossa, já tava dentro.
O cérebro já estava.
Nossa, 4 meses, que é direto, assim.
Ele começava a chorar umas 8 horas da noite e até umas 4, 5 da manhã. E aí dava umas choradas durante o dia, né? Aí com 4 meses, começou a dormir 5 ou 6 horas seguidas, do nada. Sem segurar, sem nada. Punha no berço, apagava a luz, saía. Ele aprendeu a dormir sozinho.
Ele não acabou a sua consultora,
Ela acabou.
Ela acabou.
Ela acabou de volta.
O cachorrinho ajudou o Daniel. Nós vamos fazer a oração final, vai ter paz.
Melhor não fazer. Dispersou demais.
Dispersou o ambiente, nós vamos fazer a nossa oração final, então.
DJ, obrigada. A musiquinha calmante. We thank you for the meeting we had today. We thank you for all the possibilities that we have in front of us to better ourselves, to improve ourselves, to learn, to make the best choices and succeed in our challenges whenever possible. And even in the situations that we fail, we still thank you for the opportunity of trying and awakening our conscience. We know we're going to try again. We know we're going to make the effort to succeed the next time. Lord, we thank you that nobody got hurt today, that we did not have a real incident here at FSS. We thank the spiritual guides of our home, and we thank all the friends who are here present, who patiently waited for us to finalize this meeting, to close it with a prayer. Jesus, our Master, thank you once again for being here with us today. For whenever there are 2 or more people together in your name, you will be there. And we thank you for being here with us today, filling our hearts with your teachings and with your examples. So be it. Thank you very much, everybody, for the patience. Thank you, Luis. For our next book. If you want I think we might be able to get it in English. I'm just not sure how long it would take to get here. But if you want, I can check how long it takes to get here. And then again, even for us who are reading Portuguese, to do the meeting and make the comments in English is easy. So our next book club is going to be, like I said,